pose with the bands. Pose with the pose with the pose with the bands. Pose with the pose with the pose with the bands. Bands. Pose with the bands. Pose with the pose with the pose with the bands.
Audio Jungle.
Good morning, Davidan, and hello world. This is Sophia back at it again for another episode of Sophisticated Standards. In today's episode, we will going to talk about the Article 3 of the Code of Ethics for Health Educators. I have invited guests to further elaborate and explain each section. But before I will going to introduce these guests, let me explain first what is the Article 3 all about. The article emphasizes the responsibility of health educators to their employers, outlining expectations for professional conduct, accountability, and transparency. This is crucial in the healthcare field as it ensures accurate representation of qualifications, services, and outcomes, facilitating informed decision-making. Our first guest is the Regional Director of the Department of Health Region 9. Let us welcome Mr. Janiel Chris Guhelbe. Hi, Mr. Janiel. Good morning.
Hello, Sophia. Good day.
Take a seat, please.
Thank you so much.
So, Sir Janiel, how's life as the Regional Director of DOH Region 9?
So, Sophia, my life today is quite busy. Today is the beginning of the World Immunization Week, which we have different immunization programs all throughout Region 9, Zamboanga Peninsula.
That's a quite busy life. Now, sir, tell us something about the Section 1 of the Article 3 of the Code of Ethics for Health Educators.
Alright, let's talk about Section 1 of Article 3 of the Code of Ethics for Health Educators, which states that health educators accurately represent their qualifications and the qualifications of others whom they recommend. So mainly, it's all about honesty, transparency, and accountability. Health educators are not just casual advice givers, they are professionals. And that means when health educators present themselves and recommend someone, we've got to be real about the credentials. No sugarcoating, no exaggerating, just pure facts.
Wow, that is so informative. Now, sir, a health educator recommends their super chill friend for a job, calling them an expert in stress relief. How should credibility and qualifications be properly assessed before making a recommendation?
That's a great question, Sophia. So, when a health educator calls their super chill friend an expert in stress relief, the question is, based on what? Are they licensed, trained, or do they have experience in clinical or educational settings? Saying someone is an expert without checking their qualification is not just careless, it's unethical. So it could even be dangerous if people rely on that person for serious health concerns. So now, how should credibility be assessed before making a recommendation? So first, we must check educational background and certifications. Second, we must look at relevant work experiences. Third, ask for references or proof of past work. And lastly, we should ensure their values and approach align with professional standards. So, Sophia, we should not recommend someone based on our relationship with them. Not because we're good friends, you can recommend that. Or that is a famous person, you can recommend them. So credibility of a person or the qualification of a person is based on their education, their past experiences or relevant works, and then we must ensure that their values and approach align with their professional standards.
So now, sir, what are the potential consequences, both ethical and legal, of misrepresenting one's qualifications in a health education role?
So the consequences of misrepresenting someone's Sophia, it's a big deal, both ethically and legally. So ethically, Sophia, it damages your own reputation as a health educator, and it undermines trust in the profession and can put people's health at risk. In terms of legal consequences, Sophia, legally, if someone gets harmed based on your false recommendation or you use false qualifications or credentials, it may violate Republic Act 10175 or the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012, or the worst thing is you can lose your license. So the bottom line in health education, integrity is not just optional, it's the foundation. So recommending someone is not just a favor, it's a professional statement. So make it count.
Wow, sir, I'm so impressed by your expertise. You're a true thought leader in your field. Thank you so much for your cooperation.
It's my pleasure to be here with you, Sophia.
So we'll be back in a flash. Stay tuned.
Hand washing is a first line of defense against germs. Pero hindi lahat ng sabon pareho. Hand washing with Safeguard helps provide long-lasting protection against germs. Wash hands properly. Stay safe. Safeguard.
And we are back. Let us welcome our second guest, the Health Promotion Officer of the World Health Organization, Miss Feliz Marie Bion. Hi, Miss Feliz. Good day. Welcome to our show. Please take a seat. So, Miss Feliz, before we'll proceed to our interview proper, let's have a quick chit chat first. So, what's the most challenging part of your job, and how do you overcome those challenges?
Okay, so as a health promotion officer, it's really hard to fight misinformation because there's a lot of beliefs that other people have, and our profession is to deliver evidence-based information. And in order for me to do my job, I often listen. I listen to what other people say and what their take on certain topics, and I explain how we base our informations on what's really proven, and in that way, those people still feel heard and informed at the same time.
Misinformation is really rampant nowadays. So now moving on, Miss Feliz, can you tell something or explain about the Section 2 of the Article 3 of the Code of Ethics for Health Educators?
Okay, so the Section 2 of the Article 3 actually means that when health educators carry out their responsibilities like making health programs, giving health advices, or planning educational activities, they should base their actions on proven and accepted practices in the field, not just personal opinions or unverified methods. It's about being professional and evidence-based, making sure their work is guided by what's been shown to be effective and ethical in health education.
So a friend of mine insists that ancient wisdom is more reliable than modern research because it feels right. So how should health educators like you navigate personal beliefs with evidence-based practices?
As a health educator, I completely understand that some people trust ancient wisdom because it's been passed down through generations. And honestly, there's often cultural value and emotional comfort in those beliefs. But, at the same time, this section of our professional ethics reminds us that we need to use reliable standards, theories, and scientific guidelines when we do our work. So that would mean that we have to rely on what's been proven to work through research, not just what feels right. Yeah. And for example, some people believe that drinking herbal teas can cure serious illness like pneumonia, and herbal remedies might be helpful with mild symptoms, but and we can respect that part of the culture, but we can't really rely on that alone, because there's studies that shows that pneumonia can really help, or it can still be deadly even when applied with those practices. So as a health educator, I would gently say to that person that you can use your herbal tea for comfort, but it's really important to also follow the doctor's treatment because that's what's been proven to save lives.
So, ma'am, why is it crucial for health educators to rely on peer-reviewed research, established theories, and professional guidelines when providing information?
It's really important that I rely on peer-reviewed research, established theories, and professional guidelines because people trust us to give information that is safe, effective, and life-saving. So this section of our Code of Ethics reminds us, health educators, that our work must be guided by reliable standards and evidence-based practice. So that means we don't just guess or go with personal beliefs because we follow what has been tested, what has been reviewed, or what has been proven to work.
You're not only knowledgeable, but also articulate and engaging. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
So stay tuned for more. We'll be right back.
Pagbibili ng gamot, dapat subok, dapat trusted, dapat dekalidad. Oh, Unilab yan. Oh, Unilab yan. Pagbibili ng gamot, siguraduhin mo na. Unilab yan. Unilab yan. Pagbibili ng gamot, siguraduhin mo na. Unilab yan. Unilab yan.
Trusted quality healthcare. Unilab yan.
And we are live again, going back to business. Let us welcome the advocacy and communication staff from the Health Futures Foundation Incorporated, Shikaina Alexei Lampian. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Miss Shikaina. So how's life so far?
Life very busy, very stressful, but of course we just have to go with the flow.
So, Miss Shikaina, can you tell us about the Section 3 of the Article 3 of the Code of Ethics for Health Educators?
Okay. So the Section 3 of the Article 3 states that health educators accurately represent potential service and program outcomes to employers. So as health educators, we make sure to be honest and realistic when we explain what a health program or service can achieve. So this means that we don't just say what they want to hear, we tell the truth. If a program has helped many people, we say that, but we also mention that it might not work the same for everyone. I want my employer to trust me or to trust us health educators and make the right decisions based on real results and not false hope.
So, ma'am, how can health educators balance optimism and ethical transparency when communicating the potential outcomes of health programs to employers and the public?
So to balance, health educators must stay positive but honest, highlight the good results of a program but also explain its limits. So for example, if a health program helped many people quit smoking, I'll share that. But I'll also say the success depends on the person and not everyone may get the same result. I never promise perfect result, or health educators should never promise perfect results and speak based on facts and real experiences. This helps employers and the public feel hopeful but also prepared for realistic outcomes.
Okay, so what steps should health educators take to prevent misleading claims about the effectiveness of services, ensuring realistic expectations for stakeholders?
Okay, Sophia. So the steps, first, I actually have 5 steps. And the first step is to always check information before sharing it. And if we're not sure, then we just don't say it. And then use trusted sources like research and data from the Department of Health or past program results. And talk about what the program can do well, but also where it might not work for everyone. And avoid saying things like this will definitely work or everyone will get better. And lastly, if there's something new or there's an update, then I'll just inform the employer or the people so that they have the latest and most accurate information.
Thank you so much, Mom. Your insights and perspectives have been invaluable. Our audience surely learned something from you today. So, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pia. Thank you for having me.
Hold your phone, folks, for we will be right back.
Pag kailangan ng gamot, huwag mahihiyang magtanong. Kung may right med ba nito? May right med ba nito? Pag may kailangang gamot, huwag mahiyang magtanong. Kung may right med ba nito? Ang right med ay premium na gamot na kayang bilhin. Dahil gusto namin na gumaling kayo.
The break is over, but the learning continues. To discuss the fourth section, let us have the health education specialist, Mr. Florence Riel Laranjo. Welcome, Mr. Florence.
Hello, Mr. Pia. Thank you for having me. I'm so pleased to be here.
Yeah, take your seat. I'm curious, Mr. Florence, what's a typical day like for you in your current role?
A typical day for me is probably a lot of teaching, organizing, advocating, and connecting with the community. So since I am a specialist, I work with research. So we basically pinpoint gaps in the community and create a solution or answer that gap through research.
Oh, that's a busy life, Mr. Florence. So now kindly tell us about the section 4 of the Article 3 for Code of Ethics for Health Educators.
So in the Article 3, Section 4, it's about health educators anticipate and disclose competing commitments, conflicts of interest, and endorsement of products. So there are 3 concepts. The first one is anticipate and disclose competing commitments. This means that as health educators, we should be aware of our other obligations. These other obligations is what we call or either professional or personal obligations. These obligations should not interfere our ability to fully and effectively perform our duties to our employers. So the second concept is the conflict of interest. So a conflict of interest arises when there is what we call personal, or this conflict of interest is what we call our personal interest. This could be financial, familial, or business. And this conflict of interest should not potentially influence our professional judgment or actions in a way that is not the best interest to our employer. The last concept is endorsement of products. This refers to situation where we might ask or consider endorsing a specific product or service. But in endorsing of products, it's important that we practice transparency, and it should be based on scientific evidence and not because of personal benefit. So in essence, by anticipating and disclosing these situations, we health educators maintain the trust and ensure that our actions are guided by ethical considerations rather than personal gain or conflict obligations.
So in what ways can health educators proactively disclose conflicts of interest to ensure transparency without compromising their professional credibility?
There are a lot of ways to proactively disclose conflicts of interest, but the most common way is open communication. So this is beyond formal documentation, and this helps us or fosters an environment of open communication where you as a health educator and the employer share ideas and discuss and brainstorm and be able to create potential or determine potential negative consequences out of these conflicts of interest.
So how might hidden endorsements or undisclosed sponsorships affect public trust in health education?
So there are many effects of hidden endorsements. So the first is it undermines objectivity and credibility. So when a health educator promotes a product or services without revealing any personal gain or affiliation, it creates the illusion of unbiased expertise. But if these hidden endorsements are later revealed, it damages the public's perception of the health educators objectivity, and overall credibility. People may begin to question the validity of all information provided by a health educator or a profession as a whole. And the second one is creating misleading information. Hidden endorsements can lead to disseminating of biased or even inaccurate information. So as health educators, if we are incentivized to promote a particular product, we have the potential to exaggerate the benefits of the product, which potentially harms the public health. This erodes the foundation of the trust that the health education relies upon to empower individuals to make informed decisions. And the last is hindering effective health communication. Trust is a fundamental, effective health communication. If the public doubts the integrity of the health educators, their messages will be less likely to resonate and lead to negative health behaviors. And this can significantly create a negative consequences for public health outcomes.
Your unique perspective has shed new light on our topic. So thank you so much for sharing your expertise.
Again, for having me.
It's time to shake things up, folks. We'll be right back after this commercial.
Santon Plus Herbal Capsule. Ang mga bukol-bukol, sarang tunawon, siskag tumor, Santon Herbal Capsule. Garantisado, Santon Herbal Capsule. Kagbay alivyo, Santon Herbal Capsule. Aprobado sa scientifico, ina-endorso sa mga eksperto. Santon Herbal Capsule, ang kapsula na epektibo.
Welcome back to the show. To discuss the last two sections, sections 5 and 6, let us welcome the president of the Philippine Nurses Association, May Pauline Galliposo. Hi Pauline, welcome to the show.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, take your seat. So Miss Pauline, what projects and policies have you been working on lately as the president of the Philippine Nurses Association?
Well, Sophia, one of our key initiatives lately has been pushing for government action on fair compensation for nurses. We believe that advocating for better pay is not just about livelihood, it's about ethics too. Underpaid and overworked nurses can't be expected to perform at their best. We need to ensure that our nurses are not just competent, but continuously supported through training and fair wages. Quality care starts with a cared-for workforce.
Well, that's a great initiative, Ms. Pauline. So, can you tell us something about the Section 5, the Article 3 of the Code of Ethics for Health Educators?
Well, Sophia, Section 5 of the Code of Ethics for the Health Education Profession states that health educators should openly communicate to employers and expectations of job-related assignments that conflict with their professional ethics. This means that if a job-related task or assignment given by an employer goes against the health educator's professional ethics, the educator should speak up honestly and respectfully. They should not just follow orders blindly because they have a responsibility to protect their integrity and the people they serve. Ethics should never be compromised even under pressure. There's actually a Republic Act that supports this. We have Republic Act 7394 or the Consumer Act of the Philippines. This act aims to shield consumers from hazards to health and safety, as well as from deceptive and unfair practices, providing consumers with the right to information and choice. For example, a health education program is being limited to only certain groups based on race, gender, or social status, and the employer supports it. So, there is discrimination. So, what should the health educator do? He or she should address the issue to their employer, stating that it goes against ethical standards of fairness and equal access. In short, this section reminds health educators that if they're ever told to do something that feels wrong or unprofessional, they have a duty to speak up, not just to protect themselves, but to maintain the integrity of the health education field. As medical professionals, we should always keep in mind what Martin Luther King Jr. once said: "The time is always right to do what is right."
So how should health educators navigate situations where job-related assignments contradict ethical guidelines?
Well, Sophia, when health educators face job-related assignments that contradict ethical guidelines, they should approach the situation carefully but confidently. First, they should engage in open communication. They should respectfully speak with their supervisor or employer and bring up the issue. Then, they should offer alternatives. Propose a more ethical or evidence-based approach. Now, if the employer still doesn't budge and the issue remains unsolved, they should seek support. Talk to a mentor, a professional board, or ethics committee directly. Professional guidance exists for situations like this.
So imagine yourself in this situation. You refuse to endorse a health trend because it contradicts your professional ethics. You were threatened to say something nice or getting fired from your job. So what's the best way to stand firm without getting the consequence?
Well, that's a tough spot, but it's totally realistic in the world of health education. But we should always stand firm on our ethics. In order to address this, we should stay calm, professional, and respectful. Even if we are being threatened, we should avoid reacting emotionally. We should stay collected and polite because this keeps the conversation productive and protects our professional image. Then, we should reframe our refusal as professional integrity. We should make it clear that we are not being difficult, we're being responsible. Lastly, we should suggest a positive alternative and offer another way to support the organization without compromising our values. Standing firm might feel risky, but being ethically grounded earns long-term respect. We're not just protecting ourselves, we're protecting the people we serve, and that is real courage.
So moving on, Ms. Pauline, kindly tell us about the Section 6 of the Article 3 of the Code of Ethics for Health Educators.
Well, Sophia, Section 6 states that health educators should maintain competence in their areas of professional practice. A wise person once told me, learning occurs from womb to tomb. Section 6 means that health educators must always keep their knowledge and skills up to date. The world of health is constantly evolving with new research, technologies, and best practices. So, to give the best education and service, health educators must keep learning and improving. According to Republic Act 10912 or the Continuing Professional Development Act of 2016, professionals are required, including health educators and nurses, to pursue ongoing learning to maintain their license. This emphasizes that lifelong learning is a duty for competence. Being competent is not a one-time thing. It is an ongoing commitment. Health educators should always be learning, improving, and adapting to make sure that they are giving people the best information and support as possible.
So why is maintaining competence through ongoing education critical for professionals in health field?
Well, firstly, this is because health is always evolving. New diseases emerge, treatments improve, and research changes what we know. Staying updated means professionals provide the most accurate and effective care and information. Second, patient safety depends on it. Outdated knowledge can lead to mistakes, misinformation, or even harm. Ongoing education helps ensure that safety and quality in health services is upheld to the utmost importance. And lastly, it enhances professional credibility. Continuous learning shows dedication and professionalism. It helps you stay relevant, confident, and respected in your field. So in essence, staying competent is not just about you. It's about protecting others, honoring your profession, and making sure your impact is always positive and up to date.
So what are the risks associated with failing to stay updated in the evolving field of health education?
Well, Sophia, failing to stay updated in the evolving field of health education can lead to serious risks, not just for the professional, but also for the people they serve. We might spread misinformation. Using outdated research or debunked health practices can lead to incorrect guidance. This can cause harm to individuals and damage the educator's credibility. There is also the great risk of compromising patient safety. Recommending old or ineffective strategies may lead to delayed treatment, complications, or increased health risks. And lastly, we may not be able to adapt to new tools and technology. Falling behind in digital literacy or tech-based health tools make it harder to connect with modern audiences and deliver effective programs. In short, failing to stay current is not just a personal risk. It can affect health outcomes, public trust, and even your professional future.
Your knowledge on these topics surely enlighten our audiences. So I know you're busy. So thank you so much, Ms. Pao, for gracing our show today.
It's my pleasure, Sophia.
That's all for today, folks. I hope you learned something from our episode for today. See you in our next episode of Sophia's Decadent Standards. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel to keep you updated of our latest talks. Thank you and ingat!